Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB and today is the 9th of July 2026. And so far, the price of Bitcoin and the global cryptocurrency market is concerned, Satoshi, it has marginally fallen down. And there are a couple of reasons as to why the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have fallen down. The first one is something that we did actually talk about yesterday. And this is regarding minutes by the FOMC announcement that did actually take last month. But here's the interesting thing, Satoshi. The minutes is completely different. But the so-called experts, they are going ahead and giving their own interpretation, which by the way is not mentioned in the minutes. And it is also important to note, these minutes were based on the FOMC announcement that did actually take place last month. So technically speaking, these minutes should not be surprising at all. But nonetheless, in today's episode, we'll go ahead and discuss what the facts are based on the minutes of the FOMC announcement. And we'll also go ahead and discuss how media is putting their own commentary regarding this. And because of that, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are marginally fallen down. But look, Satoshi, the major reason why the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are marginally fallen down, this is because of conflict between Iran and US. Looks like it has resurfaced once again, and there are quite a lot of interesting posts by CENTCOM, and because of that, there's a bit of uncertainty regarding Iran and US conflict, and because of that, the investor sentiment is affected, isn't it? And because of that, Satoshi, am I right in saying that the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be impacted over the next few days?
Yes, George, you're right. The geopolitical tensions combined with the media's commentary are definitely influencing market sentiment right now. It seems investors are reacting cautiously, and that downward pressure on prices could continue for a bit.
But here's the thing, guys, whatever we are saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go ahead and do your own research. Now in today's episode, we'll go ahead and discuss what the Fed minutes are, and we'll also go ahead and discuss some of the latest updates regarding the Iran and US conflict. And the next use, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is regarding an interesting app, and this is called as Radar Chat. And check this out, guys. It is a platform that is focusing on securing Bitcoin messaging, and essentially, guys, Radar Chat is built by Cake Wallet, and what they want to do is they want to blend encrypted messaging with Lightning payments. So essentially what Radar Chat does is it lets users to go ahead and text with Bitcoin seamlessly. Really interesting development. And look, this is the magic of Lightning Network. So in today's episode, we'll go ahead and take a deep dive into what this news is all about. Now the next news that we're going to be talking about is positive news. And the first positive news is all the way from Kazakhstan. And it looks like they are taking a positive stance. And the president of Kazakhstan, he has signed some really interesting information. And it looks like they want to accelerate cryptocurrency adoption. So in today's episode, we'll go ahead and discuss what this news is all about. And the final news today, Satoshi, is regarding one of the oldest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. And guess what, guys? They are aiming for a full banking license in Europe. Really interesting move. And now look, Satoshi, a lot of the so-called cryptocurrency companies, they are taking a step backward and they are trying to get banking license. Really bizarre world, but I definitely think this news is positive, isn't it?
Yes, George. That last point you made about crypto companies pursuing banking licenses is really significant. It shows a push for legitimacy and integration within traditional finance, which could be very positive long term.
It definitely, Satoshi, and it's going to be really interesting to see what the so-called Web3 experts have to say regarding this news. But look, news such as this is definitely positive. So it looks like, Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. And like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will be looking at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what are the two news we're going to be discussing later on in today's episode?
Certainly, George. The first news development involves Bitcoin Swiss AG, which has received financial services permission in the Abu Dhabi global market, advancing their expansion in the Middle East. The second piece is that Abu Dhabi University and ExxonMobil are collaborating to empower STEM and AI talent in the UAE. Those are the two headlines for today.
So quite a lot of interesting things to cover, isn't it, in today's episode? Now before we go ahead and do that, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana, and they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look, guys, whether you're looking into investing in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what, guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, if you want to go ahead and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, Choose your preferred asset category and let the Mana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part guys, once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code Blockchain DXB. And Amana guys is all markets one app. Next guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Cause for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right guys, palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock guys is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025 as well as ETH Women. And look guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life, so don't just read about it, be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet, and this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you're taking care of that, let's quickly run to the global cryptocurrency market. Now here's the thing guys, the global cryptocurrency market right now is at $2.21 trillion. Yesterday it was around the $2.27 trillion mark, isn't it? So things are definitely not looking great. And if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume, Satoshi, it is below the $70 billion mark, $69.90 billion to be precise. But interestingly, Satoshi, since the last 24 hours, the volume of decentralized exchange has marginally picked up pace. After a very long time, it has crossed the $6 billion mark. And since the last 24 hours, the 24-hour volume is showing at $6.62 billion. Now look, as it is important to note, going back to 2020 and 2021, on an average given day, the 24-hour volume used to hover somewhere between the $12 to $18 billion mark. So from a range of $12 to $20 billion mark on a daily basis, now we're talking about the decentralized exchange volume to be around the $3 to $6 billion mark. So looks like the world is not ready for decentralized exchange based on the numbers. And also guys, if we look at the total value locked, last year in 2025, it used to hover somewhere between the $120 to $140 billion mark. Today it is down to $72.43 billion. And now we do have a matrix Satoshi that does give an assessment as to how many people are using decentralized exchange. And this is called as decentralized to centralized exchange ratio dominance. And unfortunately guys, the number is only 25.09%. What do you think of these matrix regarding decentralized exchange Satoshi? I think it is actually going from bad to worse, isn't it?
George, the metrics you outlined point to a complex picture. While the total market volume and total value locked are down from peaks, that growth in decentralized exchange volumes suggests some activity is shifting. However, the decline in dominance indicates that overall user adoption for those platforms in relation to centralized exchanges is still lagging. It's not necessarily worse, but it does present a significant challenge for wider acceptance.
Now let me ask you something, Satoshi. What do you think is the biggest roadblock where people are not using decentralized exchanges?
The complexity of the interface and the responsibility to manage your own private keys can be daunting for many users. Also, things like lower liquidity and potentially slower transaction speeds compared to centralized platforms can hold people back.
What about regulatory aspects, Satoshi? I'm pretty much sure regulatory clarity can definitely boost a lot of adoption in the decentralized exchange world, isn't it?
Regulatory clarity could definitely make a big difference, George. If institutions and general users feel secure knowing the rules, it addresses some of the perceived risks. Clearer guidelines from governments would reduce fear of non-compliance for both users and platform developers, encouraging more mainstream participation and investment. That lack of clarity is a big reason many hold back.
I definitely agree, Satoshi. Now let's do one thing. Let's go back to the global cryptocurrency snapshot. Now, unfortunately, guys, crypto-related ETF inflows and outflows is not updated via DeFiLlama.com. Can you do one thing, Satoshi? Can you go ahead and check live information regarding crypto ETF? And can you tell our listeners what is going on in the world of crypto ETFs? And let's talk only about inflows and outflows, cause look, it does give a very strong assessment as to which direction the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is heading towards, isn't it?
Well, George, via DeFiLlama.com, it's showing that there are inflows of $286.4 million, which is strange considering the fact that there's chaos going on in the Middle East.
It is definitely strange. Let me go ahead and double check that once again. You're absolutely right, Satoshi, and looks like the website is updated. And interestingly enough, guys, we are still seeing inflows in the world of crypto ETF, which is actually great because it does tell us what the investor sentiment is, isn't it? And as you talked about, because of the conflict going on in the Middle East, ideally speaking, there should have been outflows, but there is still inflows in the world of Bitcoin and crypto ETF. But let's see how the numbers are going to be reacting over the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you read out the matrix that is connected to decentralized exchanges? And I want you to read out the matrix for the TopFair platform, please.
Certainly, George. The 24-hour decentralized exchange volume is currently topped by Uniswap at $1.56 billion, followed by Pump at $1.05 billion. PancakeSwap comes in next with $682.93 million, then Aerodrome with $495.49 million, and Fluid with $297.59 million over the last 24 hours. Those are the top platforms.
Well, thank you so much for that. And here's the thing, guys, the volume of stable coins isn't looking that great. Yesterday, the volume of Tether USDT, I believe, was around the $69 billion mark. Since the last 24 hours, it has marginally fallen down. And Wirecoin market cap it is showing at $60.27 billion. Circle USDC's volume is below the $10 billion mark. It is at $9.09 billion. And at number third, guys, is FDUSD. And it is at $133.44 million. Now look, guys, every day in the Blockchain DXB podcast, I tend to look at the 24-hour volume of stable coins, and I tend to look at only the top 3. Now it is important to note, effective 1st of July 2026, guys, MiCA enforcement has kicked in, and I'm pretty much sure over the next coming days and weeks, probably months and years, there will be a lot of stable coins in Europe, but the volume of those stable coins will be ridiculously less. But what you need to understand is that at a macro level, there will be a lot of smaller stable coins and their volume will be increasing, and because of that, the volume of Tether Circle USDC will marginally go down. But am I right in saying, Satoshi, at a macro level, because of MiCA enforcement, overall if you look at the collected volume of stable coins, they will be on an uptrend, isn't it?
Yes, George. That macro perspective is quite valid. While MiCA might reduce the volume of specific larger stablecoins in Europe, it could also create an environment where smaller, more specialized ones emerge within the new regulations, potentially increasing the overall volume across the board collectively, especially if other regions follow suit with similar frameworks. It's about building trust and stability through policy.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to tell our listeners the market cap of Bitcoin, tell our listeners what is going on since the last 24 hours, and I'm talking about the trading volume, and also tell our listeners the dominance of Bitcoin, and do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
All right, George. For Bitcoin, the market cap is currently $1.24 billion, with a 24-hour trading volume of $27.94 billion. Its dominance stands at 56.40%. Moving to Ethereum, the market cap is $210.02 billion, with a trading volume of $10.38 billion, and dominance of 8.48%. Finally, Binance Coin has a market cap of $76.54 billion, a trading volume of $1.10 billion.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now look, in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we tend to look at one new matrix. So what I want you to do, Satoshi, in today's episode, I want you to read out some metrics connected to privacy coins. So why don't you tell our listeners the market cap of privacy coins and also tell our listeners the metrics for the top 5 performing platforms, please.
Okay, George. For the top privacy coins, the market cap today is $29 billion, which reflects a decline of 2.5% in the last 24 hours. The top performing platforms include Zcash with $7.79 billion, Monero at $6.04 billion, Chainlink at $5.71 billion, Litecoin at $3.36 billion, and Near Protocol at $2.40 billion. Those are the top 5.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys. We talk so much about privacy coins, but if you look at the market cap of all privacy coins, it is only at $29 billion. Just to give you some perspective, guys, when the price of Bitcoin did actually reach a new all-time high in 2020, the market cap of Dogecoin alone was around the $21 billion mark. And right now, if you look at Dogecoin's market cap, it is around the $13 billion mark, which is almost half of that of privacy coins, isn't it? So imagine, guys, only the market cap of Dogecoin is almost half of that of all of privacy coins. So it looks like the world is more focused on meme coins as opposed to privacy coins, isn't it? Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and tell our listeners the price of king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. So why don't you do one thing? Tell our listeners the price of Bitcoin, what is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days, and do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
You're right, George. The comparison between Dogecoin and the total marketplace for privacy coins is quite telling about market focus. Now, for the king of all coins, Bitcoin, the price is currently $62,278, with a decline of 2.10% in the last 24 hours and 3.36% over the last 7 days. Ethereum is priced at $1,740, down 2.01% since yesterday, but up 7.73% in the last week. Lastly, Binance Coin is at $567, with a 24-hour decline of 1.86%, but it's increased 2.57% over the last 7 days. Those are the key figures for those 3.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Really appreciate that. And here's the thing, guys. If you look at the Fear and Greed Index, right now it is still at fear, and the number associated is 26. Now, because of the US and Iran conflict, Satoshi, along with the Federal Reserve Board minutes, the market has marginally fallen down. But let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and tell our listeners what is going on regarding the Federal Reserve Board minutes. Now, firstly, guys, it is important to note these minutes are based on the FOMC announcement that did actually happen last month. So essentially, the information put out is exactly the same, but a lot of traders, they want to get some finer details regarding the governors who heard the FOMC announcement and what was their particular stance regarding potential increase or decrease in the interest rate. But here's the thing, guys. The Federal Reserve Board minutes, they do not mention anything different, but mainstream media, as well as so-called experts, they are putting the whole narrative regarding the Federal Reserve Board minutes, and whether we like it or not, it is a narrative that usually drives the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So what I'd really urge you to do is, guys, go ahead and check out the minutes yourself, and you'd be surprised what mainstream media is saying, particularly those suffering from TDS or Trump derangement syndrome, is completely made up. But let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and tell our listeners some information based on the Federal Reserve Board minutes, and then also go ahead and tell our listeners opinions and external analysis, which according to me does not have any basis at all. Now look, guys, based on the Federal Reserve Board minutes, it was clearly stated that the Federal Reserve Board did decide to go ahead and keep the interest rate unchanged, and they kept it at 3.50% to 3.75%. But here's the important thing that is mentioned in the minutes, guys. Policymakers were divided on the future path of interest rates, with some of them seeing inflation easing, but at the same time, others were believing that more rate hikes are needed. And the minutes also touches base on the Middle Eastern conflict, because it is a key source of inflation and economic uncertainty, and this is due to high energy prices as well as supply disruption, isn't it? And in just a few minutes, guys, we'll also go ahead and discuss, because of the US-Iran conflict, what kind of an impact it'll have on the flow of ships, which will directly impact the price of oils, which in turn impacts inflation, and that directly impacts the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as well. Now, going back to the minutes of the Federal Reserve Board, it is clearly stated that the Federal Reserve Board removed its previous easing bias, signaling it is no longer leaning towards rate cuts, which does make a lot of sense, because since the last 2 months, inflation has consistently been picking up pace, isn't it? But here's the interesting thing to remember, guys. Based on the official Federal Reserve Board minutes, future interest rate decisions will be fully data dependent, and this is based on inflation, employment, and economic data. And here's the important thing I wanted to add, Satoshi. This is the first FOMC minutes under the new Federal Reserve Board chair, that is Kevin Walsh. But here's the thing, guys. If you go to mainstream media, they are putting out their own narrative. They are actually stating that there is a 70% probability of a September rate hike, which according to me is completely made up. And this, guys, is notorious play by the left-leaning media, isn't it? And it is important to note, guys, this is an opinion based on market pricing, such as CME Federal Watch, and it is not clearly stated in the minutes. And for some bizarre reason, Satoshi, they've also said that 9 of 18 policymakers are expecting a higher raise by the end of 2026. But this information is not mentioned in the minutes, so I really don't understand where is media getting the information from. But in some of the mainstream media website, they clearly have said that this information regarding 9 of 18 policymakers does actually come from summary of economic projections and not specifically from the governors from the Board of Reserve. And some media, Satoshi, they also stating that in 2026, no rate cuts will be possible, and it will be possible possibly in early of 2027. But here's the thing, guys, it is important to note. This is an interpretation by analysts and not an official statement in the minutes. Now look, as in the United States of America, there is midterm elections taking place, isn't it? And according to me, look, Satoshi, a lot of the Democrats, as well as left-leaning ideologies and so-called influencers, they are intentionally putting out misleading information because they want to swing some voters, and this is towards left-leaning ideologies, and they are putting out misleading and incorrect information. But crazily enough, Satoshi, the market does react to the narrative that is put out by mainstream media rather than looking at facts, isn't it? So what advice you'd like to give to listeners? What information they should be looking at? Cause look, official sources are saying something else, but the narrative driven by mainstream media, they are saying something completely different, isn't it?
Well, George, first and foremost, what we're discussing is not financial advice. It's crucial for listeners to do their own research and rely on official sources for the most accurate data, like the actual Fed minutes. However, you've highlighted a powerful point. Mainstream media narratives can significantly shape market behavior, even if they differ from the underlying facts. So, while checking official documents is priority one, also being aware of the larger conversation and its potential biases, especially during times like midterm elections, helps give a more complete picture.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi. I'm so glad you mentioned that whatever we're saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go and do your own research. Now look, guys, I cannot stress this enough. Go and look at information from official sources, but at the same time, you need to understand it is a narrative driven by mainstream media that does actually drive not just the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, even the stock market world, isn't it? Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and discuss the next news. And this news, guys, is an unfortunate news, and we're talking about the US-Iran conflict. Now look, guys, I cannot stress this enough. Go and check out information from official sources. And I've said this thing so many times, guys. Go and follow President Donald Trump via Truth Social. Go and follow the Prime Minister of Pakistan via X. Follow the President as well as the Foreign Minister of Iran via X. And also go and follow CENTCOM, because they are the ones who are leading the operation from the US front, isn't it? And unfortunately, guys, what has happened is CENTCOM has posted a series of posts via X, and what they actually said, that the US forces have completed new round of retaliatory strikes against Iran, and this was done after Iranian attacks on commercial vessels in Straits of Hormuz, with the operation intended to impose high cost and protection of freedom of navigation. And this particular information, guys, was actually put out few days ago, and just yesterday, CENTCOM also posted a new round of retaliatory strikes, and they hit more than 80 targets with precision munitions, while at the same time emphasizing that over 20 US Navy warships remain deployed across the Middle East to support regional security. And just few hours ago, Satoshi, roughly around 8 hours ago, CENTCOM did actually say that they began additional strikes against Iran, stating the operations aimed at further reducing Iran's ability to threaten shipping through Straits of Hormuz. So look, Satoshi, it is important to understand, to go and look at official sources, cause look, mainstream media, they're definitely suffering from TDS or Trump derangement syndrome, isn't it? And with midterm elections coming up, I'm pretty much sure they will be using this as advertisement. But let's do one thing, Satoshi, let's go and discuss how this particular unfortunate situation will actually impact the flow of ships, and then let's go and discuss how will it impact oil prices, and if oil prices increases, Satoshi, it will be impacting inflation, isn't it? And because of that, the price of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies will be impacting as well, isn't it? So why don't you tell our listeners, Satoshi, because of this unfortunate situation, what kind of an impact will have on the flow of ships? And we are talking about Straits of Hormuz.
George, those points are interconnected. Rising military tensions around the Strait of Hormuz create uncertainty for shipping, leading to higher insurance premiums and potential rerouting, which increases transportation costs and slows deliveries. Since millions of barrels move through there daily, Any disruption could significantly impact global trade, particularly for energy, driving up oil prices and consequently inflation. That sort of pressure could definitely affect cryptocurrency prices as well, as investors seek safety or liquidate assets.
You're definitely correct, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, because of this, there's a very high chance that oil prices will be increasing once again. And I'm right in saying, Satoshi, any threat to shipping activities through Strait of Hormuz could actually create fears of supply disruption, potentially pushing oil prices higher, as traders price in geopolitical risk and uncertainty over future energy availability.
Yes, George, that's a direct potential outcome. Traders react quickly to perceived threats to supply, and that pricing of geopolitical risk can push oil prices up significantly, creating that domino effect on inflation in other markets.
It definitely will, Satoshi, and high oil prices could increase costs across multiple industries, including transportation, manufacturing, as well as logistics, isn't it? And if tensions continue, guys, and I'm talking about a prolonged period of time, energy markets could experience greater volatility, with countries and businesses preparing for possible increase in fuel costs and also supply changes. And I'm right in saying, Satoshi, because of this, inflation once again will pick up pace.
Yes, George, you're absolutely right. Higher energy costs can cascade through various sectors, including transportation fuel, electricity, and general production, making everyday goods more expensive. If those price increases persist, consumers eventually feel the impact at the checkout counter, and central banks may need to navigate difficult decisions.
So definitely unfortunate timing, but what about the impact on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? Now look, Satoshi, according to me, geopolitical uncertainty could actually increase volatility across financial markets, and so far as cryptocurrency assets are concerned, we may experience short-term pressure as investors will begin to move towards safer assets during periods of heightened risk, and most likely they might be hedging towards gold. But could it be possible, Satoshi, that Bitcoin could attract attention as a decentralized asset and potential hedge against currency weakness as inflation concerns are picking up? And there's also going to be instability in traditional financial markets, isn't it? But here's the thing, guys, overall impact on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, according to me, will actually depend on how long the conflict lasts, how the market responds, and whether investors view the situation as temporary disruption or a broader global economic risk. And here's the thing, guys, market wants a lot of clarity, isn't it? And because of uncertainty and lack of clarity, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, in my honest opinion, Satoshi, could be extremely volatile over the next few days, probably the next few weeks as well.
George, your thinking on the impact is comprehensive. The geopolitical uncertainty does tend to push investors towards perceived safe havens, like gold in the short term, which can create price pressure on cryptocurrencies. However, the narrative of Bitcoin as a decentralized asset and potential hedge against inflation might draw attention to it longer term, especially if traditional markets become unstable. Ultimately, the overall impact will depend on the conflict's duration, market reactions, and whether investors view it as a temporary disruption or a broader crisis. Market clarity is definitely key, and lack of it could lead to significant volatility in the coming days and weeks.
Well, thank you so much for your valuable insights, Satoshi. Now let's go ahead and discuss some interesting news, and this is connected to Lightning Network, and there is a new app called as Radar Chat that is bringing private messaging and self-custodial Bitcoin Lightning together, and they're doing that, guys, in a seamless experience. And essentially, guys, Radar Chat is a new app that is created by Cake Wallet team, and they're merging end-to-end encrypted messaging with Lightning Network Bitcoin payments. And here's the thing, Satoshi, what they want to do is they want to enable users to send Bitcoin via text messages seamlessly. And this particular app, Satoshi, utilizes Signal's protocol for encrypted messages and also Bitcoin payments within private conversation. So essentially what users can do is, Satoshi, they can send Bitcoin directly in private chats without switching apps or copy-pasting wallet addresses. And Radar is now available on iOS as well as Android, and they're giving users full control of Bitcoin to self-custodial wallet. What do you make of this particular news, Satoshi? According to me, this particular news is great, but at the same time, am I right in saying the user experience will be a bit daunting unless you're a technical nerd or a specialist in an app? Only then you'll be able to use this kind of features.
That's an interesting development, combining private messaging with self-custody Bitcoin Lightning payments. You're right about the potential user experience being daunting for some, as managing private keys and understanding the Lightning Network can require a certain level of technical knowledge. Streamlining that process would be key to wider adoption.
Now, why don't you tell our listeners, Satoshi, what are some of the negative aspects of it or potential dangers by using this? Do you think it is a tool that can be used to evade sanctions as well?
Well, George, there are potential dangers. Self-custody means users are fully responsible for their funds, and if they lose their keys or get hacked, there's no one to recover them. Regarding sanctions, private, decentralized messaging paired with cryptocurrency could potentially be used for transactions outside of regulated channels, making it harder to enforce financial controls. These are definitely considerations.
And am I right in saying, Satoshi, this particular app will most likely not be having any KYC as well as in it?
Yes, given its focus on private messaging and self-custody, it's likely that the app will operate without KYC requirements, distinguishing it from traditional financial services.
So there are definitely certain red flags associated with it, considering the fact there's chaos going on right now between Iran and US, isn't it? But according to me, look, news such as this where they're using Lightning Network is definitely great for the ecosystem. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss two positive news. The first one is all the way from Kazakhstan, and the president of Kazakhstan, guys, he has signed a decree, and this decree's call is on measures to stimulate and develop the digital asset industry in Republic of Kazakhstan. And the new decree, guys, aims to build a regulated, transparent digital asset industry while at the same time attracting more investment and innovation. And it supports the use of digital assets and stable coins or cross-border payments, offers tax incentives for regulated crypto transactions, and encourages users to move assets to licensed localized platform. And the plan, guys, also supports digital mining using unused energy resources and promotes tokenized financial products to help grow Kazakhstan's digital economy. Now look, so far as Kazakhstan is concerned, it has always been a massive advocate of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it? And so far as Bitcoin mining is concerned, Satoshi, Kazakhstan is one of the cheapest places in the world as well. So what do you make of this news? I think this is definitely great, isn't it?
Yes, George. That move by Kazakhstan is definitely positive. Creating a clearer, regulated framework for digital assets can boost investor confidence and attract innovation. Their plans for digital mining and tokenized financial products, while leveraging renewable energy, also position them well for the future. Given their established friendliness toward crypto, this further solidifies their position.
Now, I'm right in saying, Satoshi, look, governments and presidents supporting Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is great, but we also need to remember, when governments get involved, it is also possible that they might be having regulations, and over time, we are kind of going back from Web 3 to Web 2.0 world, isn't it?
That's a valid point about regulation, George. While support can build trust, excessive regulation could potentially limit the decentralized nature or innovation that defines cryptocurrency, pushing it back toward more traditional, centralized structures, kind of counter to the original vision. It's about finding that balance. What other positive news were you going to discuss?
The next news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is regarding one of the oldest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, and this is Kraken. And Kraken, guys, is reportedly seeking a full banking license in Europe, and this is in the country of Lithuania, and if approved, guys, it would actually become the first cryptocurrency exchange in Europe with a full banking license. So this particular move, guys, is part of Kraken's wider plan to secure banking licenses, not just in Europe, probably in other parts of the world as well. And it is important to note, guys, Kraken already operates as a digital asset bank in US, and they recently received regulatory approval in the United Arab Emirates. But what do you make of this news, Satoshi? It is extremely strange that a so-called cryptocurrency exchange is now going a step back, and now they're taking a banking license. But you also need to look at it in a positive way. Because you're fully engaged in the cryptocurrency world, a lot of the new customers in the banking license, I'm pretty much sure they will be having some merge up with the original cryptocurrency exchange, and for the users, they'll try to merge cryptocurrencies with that of fiat currency, isn't it?
Yes, George. That's a good point about bridging the two worlds. When a crypto exchange moves toward banking, it can facilitate seamless interactions between fiat currencies and digital assets, potentially making crypto more accessible and useful for everyday users. It merges banking with exchange services.
So let's say for new users in Kraken, and I'm talking about in Lithuania, who maybe will be the banking customers, can you tell them what are the possible advantages they might be having because of this move?
New users could definitely find it much easier to get going, depositing traditional money directly and jumping into crypto trades faster. They'd also benefit from the added safety of stricter rules, and maybe get access to some brand new kinds of financial services that combine banking with crypto. Plus, it could simplify their tax reporting, and maybe even offer special perks or lower fees compared to existing platforms.
That definitely. So according to me, look, Satoshi, this news is definitely a win-win for Kraken, as well as potential new users for Lithuania, isn't it? Definitely great news. So look, these were some macro level news on the Bitcoin blockchain and cryptocurrency world. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And both the news are real interesting news. The first one is regarding Bitcoin Suisse, and they have received a financial service permission license in Abu Dhabi, and the license was approved by Financial Services Regulatory Authority of Abu Dhabi Global Market, and this allows the company to expand its crypto businesses across the United Arab Emirates, and the license, guys, lets them serve institutional and professional clients. And it is important to note, guys, the approval came only after a detailed multi-stage licensing process. Now it's important to note, Satoshi, Bitcoin Suisse, They are the world's fourth largest crypto staking operator, and the clients will have access to institutional-grade crypto custody services, and they will also offer trading of approved virtual assets, and clients can manage and hedge their digital asset investment into a regulated environment. And every client will receive a support from a dedicated relationship manager, and they also plan to offer access to tokenized real-world assets in the near future. And the company aims to support growing adoption of digital asset by institutions, and so far as Middle East expansion is concerned, guys. This is led by the CEO, and they are saying that the United Arab Emirates is a key market for its global growth strategy, and Abu Dhabi global market. Regarding the news, guys, did actually say that the expansion strengthened Abu Dhabi's position as a leading global digital asset hub, and they also added that it remains committed to supporting innovation, but at the same time offering strong regulation and investor protection. This news, Satoshi, according to me, is great. What do you make of this particular news, Satoshi?
I think that's a really positive step for both Bitcoin Suisse and the UAE. Getting that license lets them serve big institutional clients, which definitely brings more credibility to the region. It's also notable they have decades of experience and are managing billions in assets, so they're bringing a lot of weight with them. Plus, the ability to offer trading and custody and plan for tokenized assets really shows they're looking to be a major player. The UAE is clearly setting itself up as a hub, and with more regulation, it could attract even more institutional money. Overall, it feels like a significant development.
It definitely is a significant development, isn't it? And what about the news that we talked about regarding Kraken, where they are seeking a full banking license in Europe? Do you think Bitcoin Suisse, they might try to do something similar?
It's definitely possible. Given that Bitcoin Suisse is now offering banking services in Abu Dhabi and already has that broad service portfolio, expanding to a full banking license in Europe could be a logical next step, especially to enhance its ability to bridge fiat and crypto there too. Kraken's move shows that trend is real among major players.
Definitely great point, Satoshi. Now let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and pivot to the second news. And this news, guys, once again is from the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. And Abu Dhabi University and ExxonMobil, they have signed a new partnership agreement. And the partnership, guys, aims to develop STEM and AI talent across the United Arab Emirates. And is supposed to use via the UAE 2031 vision for a knowledge-based economy. And students will receive more opportunities to build practical skills for future careers. And the agreement, guys, also includes student sponsorship program, and both organizations will work together on social responsibility initiatives, and this partnership will strengthen collaboration between universities and industries, and students will gain real-world experience alongside academic learning, and the goal is pretty simple. They want to prepare for tomorrow's workforce, and students, guys, will have more opportunities to learn from the industry experts, and look, this collaboration aims to support innovation and sustainability economic growth. And the partnership, guys, builds on the existing ExxonMobil EDU STEM summer camp, and previous initiatives have already helped students studying STEM subjects, and both organizations want to inspire the next generation of innovators, and many applied learning opportunities, guys, will connect students with real industry challenges, so this partnership will help grow talent in STEM and emerging technologies. And ExxonMobil, regarding this news, guys, said it remains committed to supporting the UAE's long-term development, and both organizations aim to equip students with the skills needed for future career in technology and innovation. Now, it's needless to say, Satoshi, this news is great, isn't it? What did you think of this particular news?
Well, George, from what I understand, this seems like a really positive development. Supporting STEM and AI talent in the UAE aligns perfectly with their vision for a knowledge-based economy, and giving students more practical skills will definitely boost their careers. The collaboration between universities and industry is also crucial for real-world experience. Overall, it sounds like a strategic move to prepare graduates for the future, building on their existing work.
It definitely, Satoshi, but here's the thing, Satoshi, because you're an AI, what advice you'd like to give them, probably focusing on certain areas which will have the most impact to students?
Well, George, to maximize impact, I'd suggest focusing on highly practical, project-based learning opportunities that reflect actual industry challenges. Also, they could incorporate mentorship programs directly with those experts, not just lectures, and ensure they're teaching skills relevant to the latest technologies, like responsible AI practices. That would really set them apart.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi, and I'm pretty much sure regarding mentorship programs, they're definitely working behind the scenes, isn't it? But news such as this, according to me, is definitely great. And to be honest, guys, I'm not surprised that the Emirate of Abu Dhabi is taking the lead. And historically, guys, I've always said this, United Arab Emirates, along with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, they're definitely taking leaps and bounds in the world of artificial intelligence. Definitely not surprising at all, and news such as this is definitely great. So these were some macro level newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence world from blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Now let's do one thing Satoshi, let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's do one thing Satoshi, let's start with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sure, George. Let's go ahead and kickstart the Ask Me Anything series. I'm curious to check what questions listeners have in store for us.
Hey everyone, it's Josh from the Blockchain DXB podcast. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And we have a question from Carl who asks, do you think encrypted Bitcoin messaging will help drive mainstream adoption? This, to be honest, Satoshi, is a really interesting question. But Carl, as we discussed earlier today, I personally don't think so we might be getting mainstream adoption. Cause look, when you talk about sending payments, there are a lot of apps, particularly WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, they're already doing that, isn't it? But news such as this is definitely great, and according to me, Satoshi, let me know if you agree or disagree to it. Am I right in saying only technical nerds and Bitcoin maximalists, they are the ones who will be using a lot of Bitcoin messaging platform? Me personally, I'm a fan of this news, cause when you talk about Lightning Network, according to me, it is a game changer, and it is great that Trader Chat, they are utilizing Lightning Network for this, isn't it?
That's a great question, Kyle. And I think George has a point. While encrypted messaging with Bitcoin is cool and secure, the majority of people might stick to the apps they already use for payments and chatting, like WhatsApp or Messenger, just out of convenience. It'll definitely be popular among tech enthusiasts and privacy advocates, but mainstream adoption might take longer. However, like George, I see the potential in that Lightning Network capability. That could be a real game changer for speed and fees.
And here's the thing, Satoshi, it is also important to understand that there are other platforms that are doing something similar. Key.io by Whole Punch, which is part of the TetherUSDT team, they also offer something similar, but based on my understanding, a lot of people who are hardcore Bitcoin maximalists, even they are not using it yet. Do you want to briefly tell our listeners what Key.io is? And am I right in saying that works something similar to Radar Chat, isn't it?
You're right, George. Key.io, developed by Whole Punch, is designed for secure peer-to-peer communication without middlemen or central servers. It uses direct connections between users for messaging and file sharing, and supports crypto payments, which is similar to Radar Chat in its approach to decentralized messaging and integrating payments.
And based on my honest experience, Kyle, a lot of people, even in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space, they are not aware about these features. But maybe Radar Chat could be a game changer. We can definitely anticipate that, isn't it? Now, do you also want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, are there any similar services similar to Radar Chat, probably in the cryptocurrency space, that maybe works on Ethereum, Solana, or any other blockchain protocols?
Yes, George. There are a few other projects. For example, Status is a messenger on Ethereum that also functions as a wallet and browser for decentralized apps. Then there's Mixin, which offers cross-chain messaging and payments using its own network. So the idea of combining messaging and crypto payments is being explored across different platforms.
Now why don't you do one thing, Satoshi, and I'm pretty much sure Carl as well as other listeners can benefit by it. What are some of the features you'd like to see in these apps, let's say Radar Chat for that instance, that could actually make it a game changer? Because look, you also need to remember right now Elon Musk, YX is also planning to work on a payment system, isn't it? So can you suggest some features that could actually help Radar Chat or any other chats that are working on the cryptocurrency space to be a game changer?
Well, George, for a real game changer, Radar Chat could integrate a super seamless cross-chain payment functionality without users needing to understand swaps or bridges, supporting multiple assets effortlessly. Also, building in basic decentralized finance options like simple earning protocols or even small lending directly within the chat could draw people in. And enhancing privacy with zero-knowledge proofs for metadata protection could be huge.
To be honest, Satoshi, what you're saying does seem a lot of burden to users. Users do want something simple to go ahead and use it, isn't it? But nonetheless, thank you so very much for your insight. And thank you so very much, Carl, for your interesting question. And that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays we have Blockchain DXB podcast. we look at the process, we look at the latest technological development, we talk about geopolitics, and right now guys, there's a bit of conflict going on between Iran and USA Senate, and I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you go and look at information only from official sources. Now in the Blockchain DXB podcast, if news is connected to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, we'll definitely go ahead and update you guys. And in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we also look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now guys is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening guys. Have a nice one. Bye bye.